Welcome back, everybody, to Side Quest 2. I am, again, your humble dungeon master, John, and we are the dungeondweebs. How y'all feeling?
Good. Awesome.
Feeling great.
I plead the fifth.
Really? You sure? You sure? You don't want to confess anything? Are you sure you don't want to confess anything right now to your peers in front of you?
So, I've never been a teenager with an addiction, but I sure have been a self-destructive teenager.
All I just
Your
heard
Honor,
is guilty.
the defendant pled guilty.
No bail? Gotcha.
Okay. So let's travel back a little bit into episode 3. So we're going from Leyland to Branston. I know you guys ran into a couple of merchants, kind of hitched a ride with them about halfway along the trail. For those of you who are on our Patreon, you'll be able to see a map of the area that they're in as well. That'll give you a little bit of a better idea of the area that they're in and what they're dealing with, so that when we're talking about directions, you'll actually be able to see somewhat of a visual of what's going on. Yeah, so you guys were at the tavern. What was your first thought with the mercenaries?
Oh, when they were running by us? Well, when the mercenaries were on horseback going by?
Yeah, the mercenaries going by on horseback and then again in the tavern.
On horseback, wasn't fully sure they were friend or foe, and justified paranoia, and afterwards, still justified paranoia. They seemed too uniform to be just people on the road.
Okay.
Just saying.
And strapped.
That too.
Yeah, for me, I expected some shit to go down, but I didn't expect what happened, actually.
Yeah. One of the things that I was weirded out is how color coordinated.
Well, the colored hair as well.
They were just very bright.
Yes.
This was the first time we saw the Ascended, right?
Yes, this has been our first look at the Ascended. So, the Ascended in my world are a group of mages in the far north, past Verace and into the ice fields of the north. There's a place called the Source there. There's not a lot of information about the Source, except that it's basically just believed to be the source of all mana and all magic in the world. And at the College of Al-Sahar, which is where the Source is, mages go there, or people with magical talent go there to enroll as students, and after their first few years as students at the college, they are trained and then allowed to bathe in the Source, which makes their body and mind undergo radical transformation to mostly increase their power, as well as whatever type of magic they're most in tune with, whether that's storm magic or healing magic, fire magic, whatever. And depending on what they're most attuned with, that usually changes their hair color to match that. So for example, in episode 4, of course, we saw the healing mage with blood red hair for I guess health points would be the best way to put that. Whereas the other guy had blue hair, which we don't know why his hair was that color yet. Do you guys have any theories about what his specialty might
Just
be?
likes the color blue, that's all. Something with water, maybe?
Lightning, if I would say.
Water, lightning.
Not dying fast.
Not dying fast.
Sorry.
What?
I will say this. That
All right.
Just the fact that there's people with bright colored hair that are trained in the arcane arts is quite funny to me. It's very funny to me because like I'm just waiting for the one to throw me off. Like, yeah, like that's all I'm thinking. Like if the schools of magic are color based, which I think most of them are in 5e, that it gives us a hint on a lot of stuff. They have really good bone structure. That's the best they got going on. And then we have transmutation. They just have regular brown hair, and we're just here like, oh, it's just a normal guy.
Okay, so what was your first impression of Lucas? I know we established, he was an old contact who's making you the fake IDs. Do you want to give us a little bit of a...
I would like to believe Lucas is someone that Simon knew back in his day with the crew. He's our man to get some documentation and or like just IDs or passports in this case, just to get to certain places, because this world there's some extreme elements in this world that you have to carry an ID card everywhere. And I believe he would be he probably gave us a couple of discounts here and there. And I like to believe we have a decent working relationship.
Yeah, that sounded decent.
Listen.
Happy to see you.
Listen, I may or have not been a little of a sticky fingers McGee when he wasn't looking once in a while, but I always bring back something in return much later down the line.
Yeah, so a little bit of background on that. Within this world, there are 6 kingdoms. 5 of them are countries, and then there is Verace, which is the city of the High King. To get into the city of Verace, the city of Maltai in Severn, and the city of Serenica in Seradina, you need IDs to get it. Those are 3 of the most heavily fortified. If there was an alliance, that would be the alliance. The other kingdoms that we have are Dominance and Pod. Those 2 are desert kingdoms. They are, instead of run by a monarchy, they are run by a merchant council. There's a lot more freedom and illegal activity that goes on there. 2 of their biggest imports-exports are slaves. Slavery is a thing in this world. And then the last country is Torgov, which is an island nation. They are essentially the trade capital for the world. But because there's all different types of people that come and go from Torgov, they do not require IDs. There are far too many people.
There you have it.
While on the road, Simon, you got to get a look at the journal that Gil had. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Simon has 2 things going on. One, it's really weird this guide exists at all, because most people... Well, backtrack on that. The first thing he was thinking, oh great, if this guy is what I think he is, which is a noble, or a disgraced noble, or something of that line, this is a big ticket for money. Cash cow. A big gold spender coming our way. And then the next part of that would be, the coup just happened. I'm walking with a liability with me right now. He's not fully sure what's outweighing self-preservation or greed. There's a balance going on right now.
What are your thoughts on the broker?
He's not even sure if this is up his alley. It sounds like a boogeyman scenario that he was told never to get involved with. And again, it's self-preservation or greed. It's still the same thing. It's what's driving him to keep this going? And
what are your thoughts on Reggie and Lillian's magical power?
Reggie's trying, and I respect it.
Wow.
Wow.
Just wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I did that. I was like, why are you guys doing Owen Wilson
honestly.
right now?
Wow.
The dude did it first.
You're great. Wow.
Yeah.
To be fair, she's like a young girl who has been traveling along with a lot of dudes who hit things. So a magical woman is very interesting. She's like, oh my god, someone who's like me who can do...
Dude, don't say that. There's another person that does magic.
Honestly, I don't actually think she's seen you do any direct magic up until episode 4.
It's just like...
Not in front of me.
A great shot.
Yeah.
I just think of you as the mountain man.
I just love the fact that REITHA is 100% showing favoritism, and I just feel bad for Reggie at this point.
What's funny to me is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but REITHA did not like Lillian until this point.
Yeah, REITHA did not like Lillian at all.
Yeah.
No.
That's the crazy part.
No.
Like, you're like, Reggie's my favorite person, and as soon as the magic happened, you're like,
Please tell me we're gonna have a T-shirt where it's like, my friendship with Reggie is over. Linda is my new best friend. Are we gonna make a T-shirt?
Oh my god.
So obviously that night went by, alarms were set up. Alarms were not tripped, and then the dream root powder was gone. First thoughts on that, Shivani.
I thought that it would go the way that, these two NPCs that we just picked up, who are probably worth a lot of money to somebody, would get kidnapped by these mercenaries. No. Or maybe I would get kidnapped because, I don't know, some cult shit. Yeah, but when that was the thing that disappeared, like, both me and REITHA were kind of shocked. Jon and I had randomly discussed the effects of not having Dreamroot and what that does, and I'm in the dark about that because I was like, go ham. But now I regret it. Now I regret it. Now I wish I'd been a collaborator.
Yo.
Oh no, the consequences of my actions.
Go ahead, DM. I trust you. Ah, yes. Just starts rolling it up.
It was just a series of dominoes that led to episode 4. Wait, I have a question. One, why Simon had a really strong reaction?
Simon doesn't talk about his past much, but he hates drugs. He hates the concept of narcotics.
Are you willing to talk about why? Towards, like, the Dreamroot situation?
Yeah, it's a very simple reason, and it's a mix of trauma and just it's just seeing the effects happen.
And in this world, the Dreamroot is the official name for it. Shimmer is the street name. That is this in episode 4, of course, where we were talking about when the mercenaries were talking about it before you guys got attacked. They first referred to it as Dreamroot and then as Shimmer. So if anybody caught that, that's the reason. But yes, going into episode 4, I want to know what was going through REITHA's head and what was going through Shivani's head.
Okay, that was purely Shivani play.
Okay, explain your play. Word, like, play by play. What was going on?
I was like, maybe this guy will give us information.
Also, you're 12. Who's gonna listen to the 12-year-old? Like, hello.
It was the best way to get him stop. Get him to stop. He was gonna ignore us. So I caught his attention. I mean, you would think a child running up to a bunch of horses would be like a decent human would be like, kid, you lost or something?
I'm just thinking directly of the scene from Lord of the Rings where it's the battle between the Rohirrim and the orcs, and Merry and Pippin are just there, and the horse. That's the image that went through my head.
Yeah, but this wasn't a battle. This was 3 merchants riding into the forest.
It was one carrier and 2 bodyguards, but yeah, like
again, towards the forest, not into the forest. We never touched the forest.
Yeah, towards the forest.
We're going to the forest, Jon.
Yeah, you made that very clear so that Gil couldn't give us
We're not going into the woods.
I can't wait when you ask that question in a city block. I would like to use my senses using the forest to go. You are in Costco.
You're in Costco.
He's in the plant section.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
God.
I feel like it's just very in character. All right. So what were your guys' first thought coming up to the mercenary camp? I mean, obviously you saw the woman with the great sword fighting a wolf that then transformed into a human.
I had 0 thoughts. I was just thinking, if she's not going to say anything, because if she says anything, the first thing that's going to come out is guiding bolt.
Fair. I funny enough, Simon was clocking each person in the area and is trying to establish the weak point to the strongest point. But because there are 2 people that can turn into wolves, everything in Simon's thought process went from people versus people to I now have to fight fucking wolves that are people. What does that mean?
I was gonna try and talk to the white wolf.
I will say there was, if that guiding bolt hadn't gone out, combat probably would have been completely avoided.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, I figured too.
Another thing that Simon was thinking about was how much of REITHA's mental status is affected at the moment we were walking through their domain, because he's seen.
Oh, the minute, like I had locate object packed specifically, but then we started talking to her, and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything because they're trying to handle it. And then she said she burned it.
Yeah, no, that was not the best time for that revelation. And yeah, you shot first, Han. Han shot first this moment. You did good, honestly. Like Simon's thing that he wanted to point out is like you broke into a little girl's room. Why are you? There's nothing you could say that justified this right now.
As soon as she said she burned it, it was over.
They outnumber us. Yes, they outnumber us, and they're out.
We were outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned, you would say.
Go home. And that's like a whole thing we got to cut out. Yeah. No, I was very surprised Gil went instantly for the shot after the laser came out of the child. Like,
I know, like directly after the child attacks, instead of trying to stop her, you go and begin attacking.
Yeah, like I was legitimately thinking like, okay, we can both restrain her and defuse this.
Like, that still could have been diffused perfectly fine, but no.
The best part was that Gil was actually trying to defuse the situation.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a fight or flight scenario that just kicked in you because.
Yeah, for someone who doesn't talk.
Yeah, it makes sense, but Simon was not prepared for you to go for the shot. Yeah, no, Simon was very much trying to defuse the scenario after he was screaming out, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" and not escalating anymore. But when everyone started mauling on him, like he was like, "Okay, no, I have to defend myself. I'm going to die if I don't."
And of course, we all know we're sad about the whip.
I'm very sad. You don't understand how devastated I am.
Guys, I'm sorry about
that doesn't
so
help
much.
Me.
I'm sorry about your whip. I'm sorry about your characters' lives. I apologize.
Y'all ain't dead yet, supposedly.
Oh, and I had to reveal a little bit more of Simon's BS.
Yeah, so, do you want to say anything about that, or?
I mean, honestly, this is the funny part. Simon has done this transformation, I guess, a handful of times. Like, and they've been off and on in his years. But every time it's happened, it's been when the adrenaline is pumping, back's against the wall, and, like, death is around the corner. So, like, this happened mostly in, like, an instinctual scenario. So, he probably knows he's freaked out a couple people, and he doesn't know what's the reaction of these people that he's traveling with and the people that are trying to kill him. All he knows is that he has the weird ability to fly and cast light. Well,
REITHA was at 6 HP when that happened, so I don't think she's gonna even process it.
Well, I was going very brightly.
Plus, she was around the corner, actually.
Oh yeah, so probably wouldn't have even seen it.
Yeah. So everyone else is probably... well, actually, no. The dye that I have in my hair is gone. I now have my natural color out, which is platinum blonde.
He's got the Kenergy.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to me now. I'm still... I don't want to because...
well, that basically wraps up episode 4. Do you guys have any thoughts of what's gonna happen in episode 5?
I have a strong idea that we're about to find out how slavery works.
Oh no!
Because these are people with an official mercenary band. Yeah, you didn't think that far ahead, did you, Laser Girl?
Oh fuck! I didn't think about that. I didn't even think I didn't think they'd keep us alive.
That's the thing, though. We don't know.
I don't think REITHA forgot. I forgot. The player, me.
Actually, I don't think REITHA knows that slavery exists.
Do you think Gil knows?
Gil has zero idea what the heck slavery works.
That makes so much more sense about why Simon's paranoid.
You went into the forest when you were 14. It's possible. I think you would know about it. You may have forgotten. You don't know if it still exists. You might still think it's the norm. I don't know. It's for you to decide.
I keep on acting like Gil went to the forest when he was a lot younger than 14 because he knows exactly who he is.
Yeah, no, he was 14. So for anyone who has played D&D, you know what a shit show this is for the DM. For those of you who have not played D&D,
Hi,
this is a shit show.
welcome. This is the Actions of Consequences.
Totally
game.
new campaign.
Yes, indeed. This is a living world, regardless of whether or not they are pursuing the main storyline. It'll still happen. The world might get destroyed, and they'll be in a cage somewhere.
Oh God, I feel so bad.
Other guys are going to take care of this. Don't worry about it. We're going to be all right. I will say this though. I really find it funny that these two kids that got out of their labyrinth scenario are now going to experience the hard knock life of whatever this is.
Also, watch their mom die.
Who hasn't seen their mom die?
They went from nobles trapped in a maze for 30 years, finally got out. Alright, so let's go with this. Best case and worst case scenario, each of you, starting with Juan.
For real though, best case scenario, really stretching out. We have a conversation with their leader, if they even give us a chance. And maybe how this went, I'm going to be honest, Simon's going to sweet talk his way out of this as hard as he can and get everyone out. If not, the sad part is I think REITHA might be the one to get the worst of it if it gets there. Worst case scenario, dead or slavery.
Probably best is we are still alive. Probably, like he said, talking and trying to figure stuff out. Gil probably is not going to say a word for the whole time. Worst is either I don't think slavery, but I think that they're going to use us. Because there was that whole conversation of, well, they helped with some bandits, but they are mercenaries, so they could use the extra fodder. Or there's a nice sum of 100-something gold on Gil that they might take.
Best case scenario, as a cleric, there's some godly deus ex machina. Worst case scenario, we're either dead and have to make new characters, or
Still making characters.
slavery.
In a normal game, I would agree with you on the new characters. In this game, not so much.
True resurrection! Kidnap a druid, put her through a bunch of adventures, make sure she can get true resurrection. True resurrection.
You just described Beowulf.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yep, that about sums it up for SideQuest. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you on Monday for the next episode. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye!